Let's get the words out.
We're on air. Welcome along. A Slight Tangent is coming your way between 8 and 9. It's Champions League evening, so special European night at Anfield, cliche alert, but then there is truth in cliche, of course. Liverpool, Real Madrid is on the way, which means we've brought in the big dog, the main man. Richie McCormack, evening to you.
Joe, it's always a pleasure to be along.
Thank you very
much.
Richie, he thought I was talking about him. Absolutely unbelievable. Kenny Cunningham also here.
Never.
Would you get over yourself? Unbelievable. I could see you sitting up straight there for a second thinking, here I go.
I'd agree with that assessment, Rich. Professionalism.
53106, the text number. Add off the ball on Twitter. Kenny Cunningham in for the evening. What a treat. I said, Kenny, there we have a slight tangent coming the audience's way between 8 and 9. I'm sure you're wondering, what the hell is a slight tangent?
Indeed.
It's an exciting new development on the show.
You're leaving. That would be exciting.
Wow. Myself and Michael, just through the glass there, and Arthur and Will.
Yeah.
Team OTB FM, PM. We sit around for an hour and we chew the fat on the...
It's a stretch. I've seen you 5 minutes max before you go on air.
We chew the fat on the goings on in the world of sport, and often there are tangents, hence the name. It didn't initially have a title, but then organically some listeners suggested it.
I need to get in for a few of these meetings, really.
Well, interestingly, now we've already... Tonight's one is in the can, it's done.
Right.
But...
Spoiler alert, Joe.
I know, yeah, sorry. But I would say your name has been emailed in several times by a Slight Tangent listener saying, would you get Kenny in on one of these? So the invitation's there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Come on then.
All right, up for it some night? We'd love you to do it, but I mean, this evening, for instance, Tiger Woods is up for discussion. Graham Potter up for discussion. The point on Potter, so this can be like a Slight Tangent trial for you for a minute. The point on Potter, I was just struck by almost the sheer superficial stupidity in the sports media when it comes to Potter over the last couple of weeks, where the main discussion point around Graham Potter now is he too normal? Is he too reasonable? He's too nice. And this is the big criticism of Potter. Whereas I guarantee you, if he was winning all these matches, these same attributes would be pointed to as, see, he's reasonable, he's nice. This is what you need at the top level. Younger players, this is what they want. And it's all just hot air. And it's kind of unfair criticism of him. I mean, there might be things wrong at Chelsea. I don't think it's that Graham Potter's too normal.
I think you're right. We're probably going to see one of the nicest men in football, according to most people and people within the game and coaches at Anfield tonight, in terms of Carlos Ancelotti. We know what his track record's like as a manager and how successful he's been in terms of managing dressing rooms over the past kind of 15 years and big personalities as well. So yeah, to say he's too nice is obviously weak. But I think it depends on the dressing room. Joe, to be honest with you, I think that type of character that you were talking about, nice and very articulate, and that's, you know what I mean, maybe a little bit more in touch with his emotional side and maybe some other people. I think that can play out very well in certain dressing rooms, maybe not so others. It's the modern dressing room like you were talking about. I haven't been in one on a regular basis for a number of years, but yeah, you do get a sense of that, right? The kind of the atmosphere inside the dressing room has kind of shifted. The dynamic inside the dressing room, I should say, really has shifted a little bit. So, but yeah, generally speaking, no, I think it is a pretty weak argument, to be honest with you. Although he has to stand behind the performances of his team since he's gone into to the football club, and yeah, so I think he's not say he should be criticised, but certainly should be kind of questioned in terms of the problems Chelsea are having at the moment. And so yeah, I think he understands that. But
and do you buy into like talk of, again, it's in the cliche vicinity, but again there's truth in cliche, that he doesn't have an aura? Mourinho, Tuchel, Klopp, Pep, these guys have auras. He doesn't have an aura or a presence, and that would be a weakness of his. Do you buy into that kind of stuff?
Yeah, or I suppose personality, I suppose, really is what, to a point, isn't it? Yeah.
Like Conte, I mean, people would draw comparisons. The Chelsea fans, even some of them are saying, well, look at Tuchel, he's fighting with Conte on the pitch after. That's what we need.
Yeah, I've no time for that. You don't have to be shouting and screaming and fighting the world on the touchline to have personality. say again, I'd reference Ancelotti tonight.
Yeah.
Reasonably kind of quite calm and keeps his emotions in check. Never really see him out of control on the touchline, but he strikes me as somebody with a lot of personality. When you hear him interviewed and talking kind of off camera, you're kind of quite engaged with him. You know, you see somebody. So I don't think you have to be a shout and a screamer to have personality. You can be quite kind of, you know, calm and you know, and carry yourself in a certain manner and still have bags of personality. But that said, Joe, I think at certain stages at a football club, in the dressing room during the season or whatever, I think personality does come into when you stand in front of the players. You've got to deliver a speech, or a key moment of the season comes. You've got to grab the attention of the players, and they have to believe what you're saying. They've got to kind of row in behind you.
And I presume, would you look at Potter's CV and say, well, he couldn't have done the job he did at various clubs and at Brighton unless he had that in his locker? Or are there different levels here that maybe at Chelsea it's a different thing?
Yeah, I think it's different levels in terms of the type of player. Probably elite players, that's obvious, isn't it, when you go into a Chelsea dressing room as opposed to Brighton. But you can only judge him in terms of his kind of body of work up until that point. And I was hugely impressed with the job he did at Brighton, particularly that last season and a half. I thought it was phenomenal what he was doing, the football they were playing, the consistently high levels of performance, the type of football that he was playing. Considering this wasn't elite, you know, an elite dressing room that he was in, I thought he did a magnificent job. So, yeah, I was pleased for him when he got the opportunity at Chelsea. But to a certain extent, he has to prove himself again in a different environment. And the different environment is the expectation, not just that, but the dressing room, the players in there, maybe different types of animals that he's been used to before. Maybe a little bit more demanding, Joe. Maybe question him a bit more than what he was at Brighton. So yeah, that's the challenges facing him. I kind of wish him well. I have a lot of time for him. He won me over. He was a slow burn, to be honest with you, Potter. A little bit early on. I wasn't too engaged with him in terms of post-match, in terms of what he had to say. But what impressed me most about him was not so much in terms of what he had to say, but how his team was playing and how the team evolved under him at Brighton. That's what impressed me the most.
Okay, well, we'll see how all that develops. What's going on with you? What have you been up to? What's catching your eye at the moment? Six Nations
what's
fever?
Catching me eye? Pancakes in me. Just remember there, me shoulder bag. Me ma popped a few pancakes in for you.
Did she?
She did, yeah. Yeah, she did.
Lovely.
Yeah, there's give Joe a couple of pancakes.
About that, Richie.
Yeah.
Class act.
There you are.
She's a big off the ball fan, of course. Listening right now, would she?
No, you. Sorry, Rich. No, it's more so you than the actual show. I've got to be honest with you.
So would you say
she could take it or leave it? Me and the show.
the
you.
The pancakes are for me and not the wider team?
She'll be tuning in Friday night on your rugby special.
There's no.
Is that Friday night?
What
Saturday, is it?
What are you talking about?
Is the rugby back the week? It must be, is
Yeah,
it?
it is.
I can tell you're all excited.
We don't have the Ireland game. We've got the Wales game, which may not be going ahead. There's a strike.
No way.
Yeah.
Train strike.
Player strike, Kenny.
He knows. What are we putting on the pancake? Sugar?
No,
Lemon?
I'm not a big
Nutella?
the sugar. I don't get the sugar. The sprinkle, just the raw sugar on the pancake. No, I don't.
But you have a sweet tooth.
I do. Funnily
Every
enough,
time I
yeah.
see you, you're eating chocolate.
I do. Yeah. No, probably a bit of. Have you jam in there? Anything in the
Oh
cupboard?
yeah, loads. You want strawberry, raspberry, you name it.
Is that right? Let's do it. The ad break.
Jam. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
lemon
don't-
and sugar. I never bought into with the pancakes.
I couldn't tell you the last time I had a pancake. On Pancake Tuesday.
See a lot of them now. Breakfast.
Get some in here, Rich. You know that way.
See a lot of them breakfast now. People out with breakfast, Rich. And I've you know,
Huge,
generally traditional Irish or whatever, you'd have a breakfast. Nowadays, a lot of pancakes getting served up, I've noticed,
For brunch.
around Dublin for breakfast.
Yeah. Is that like a
Yeah.
crepe thing? Breakfast
It's crap, you're right, having bloody pancakes for breakfast, there's no doubt of it. I'd never consider a pancake before 12 o'clock.
Is that a rule? Yeah.
Absolute given.
It's 12 o'clock
Absolute
somewhere.
given. Pancakes for breakfast, never. No.
Yeah, it's quite an American thing, a pancake for breakfast.
Seen people have eggs on them, on pancakes.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's
Yeah.
a stretch now.
Rich, yeah.
Nah, not for me, Ken.
No, I know.
No,
I know.
no.
This is
It was-
the world we're
no.
living in.
Would you be inclined to have a sweet breakfast? I couldn't abide by. I love a sweet tooth too, but I couldn't face a sweet. You know, Americans are very
Yeah.
sweet.
No, I
Not
agree
before
with you.
midday meat.
Yeah, I'm not a big breakfast man generally at all. Like,
Are you an intermittent faster?
Intermittent fat holder. Let me just try and digest what you said there.
No pun intended.
I build up. It's a slow burn as the day goes on. But about 7, 8 o'clock in the evening hits,
No control.
full on. Oh yeah, it's all off.
It'd be the same. All self-control goes.
Attacking the fridge full on.
There's times where I've like fasted.
Only reason I come in here to get away from the
You've said that to me
Get out of
off
the
air.
kitchen.
It's not a joke. There's times where I'll be very good all day, fast all day, and then for no reason the handbrake comes off.
Yeah, it's the worst time as well, isn't it? Worst time of the night.
It's not good. So yeah, I wouldn't load up on a sugary breakfast at all. What's your breakfast choice? Porridge, man.
No, I'd have a bit of fruit maybe. I'd have an orange, a banana, potassium. Been cramping up. Last couple of weeks, been cramping up.
Someone told me if you're feeling nervous, a banana settles you down. I don't know the science.
Sure. Yeah, nervous disposition.
Just if you're going off the ball of an evening, Kenny, and you're feeling a bit nervous, you could do worse than have a banana for 20 minutes beforehand. Have you ever heard that? No.
I never a teammate of mine went full on the bananas back in the day, literally about double digits bananas per day, thinking this was the new way forward. You know what it's like, I hear these things and yeah, full on, and literally club doctor had to send them home for a week.
What were the symptoms? What was wrong with him?
He literally couldn't, he wasn't feeling very well. Simply put, and he wasn't moving very well.
Where
His
was
bowels weren't moving very well by all accounts either, but no, but that was the thing, wasn't it? Bananas, and went full on, and no, not at all, you know what I mean? But that was it back in the day. This was it. It was kind of hearsay. You'd hear these things and
Phrases.
Yeah, crack on. There was no information being given. No dietitians around the football club or anything like that. So everything was on a whim or a suggestion of one of your teammates.
Yeah, be interested to know if that's still going on. I would still think footballers are susceptible to. I saw this guy on YouTube saying you do this. I think there's still a bit of that going on.
Personal chefs now, Joe.
That is true. Yeah,
I'd love a bit of that.
That is true. So listen, the good news, Richie, I just kept asking questions there because I want you to be able to make at least half a dozen food montages of Kenny talking about food.
Thanks very much, and I will.
Job done.
I will, yeah.
You're not a fan of those?
Huh?
You know where there's just a bit of music and you talking about bread or something when we play them?
I never listened to this show, John. When I'm out of studio.
Oh, dear.
Wouldn't be aware of anything.
Fair enough.
Around the show.
That hurts because it's true. So we should... here's some text in. Owen says, anytime Kenny's in the show, he just elevates the whole listening experience. A certain je ne sais quoi, says Owen. I mean, there's been some high-quality talk radio for the last 4 to 5 minutes. Award-winning. Is Kenny a sweet or savoury man for the Pancake Tuesday? He's answered that.
Oof.
Jam.
It can only be sweet. What do you mean by what you mean by savoury?
Somebody's there talking about putting rashers on your pancakes, Kenny. Some streaky bacon on there.
Do you know, that doesn't sound
like
terrible.
Cheese. Somebody will probably put cheese, I suppose. I suppose there's people who put cheese on pancakes,
Maybe.
is that?
The rashers point, I think, works. I mean, that's akin to the pancakes at breakfast that we're talking about. That works.
Crispy
That works.
rashers could go well. You could throw it on top of most things. Make an argument, couldn't you?
What's wrong with you all? Pancakes, maple syrup, bacon, scrambled eggs. It's the best breakfast you could eat. See,
Just make your mind up.
That's the quintessential
That's just
American.
like I can't make my mind up what to have for breakfast. I'm going to pile it all on together.
Somebody says this is bizarre radio, which may be the most salient point of all.
Ice cream. Give me a nice scoop of ice cream on a pancake.
Nice.
Now you're talking.
That'll work too, yeah.
Fruit, little sprinkle of fresh fruit.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from.
Bananas. That's just...
You're just naming
in moderation.
food now.
In bananas in moderation.
Learn nothing else from the last couple of minutes. Right. Let's just try and forget the opening of the show and press on with fresh wind in our sail, Richie.
Yes,
Newsround is brought to you with Gillette Labs for an effortless finish to your day. I suspect lots of people are very curious about team news from Anfield.
Yeah, Liverpool seeking a first win over Real Madrid in 7 encounters tonight. The sides meet at Anfield for the first leg of their Champions League last 16 tie. Amazingly, given the amount of times these sides have met over the last couple of seasons, it's the first time under Jurgen Klopp that they'll play out this game on a full Anfield. For Liverpool, Alisson starts in goal. it's a back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson. In midfield, Fabinho, Jordan Henderson and Stefan Bajcetic. And up front, Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo and Darwin Nunez. So Liverpool unchanged from that win over Newcastle. For Real, Thibaut Courtois starts in goal. It's a back four for them of Dani Carvajal, Eder Militao, Antonio Rudiger and David Alaba. In midfield, it's Luka Modric, Eduardo Camavinga and Federico Valverde. And it's a front trio of Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr. and Karim Benzema. Real will no doubt pay tribute to their honorary club president, Amancio Amaro, who's died at the age of 83. He won 9 league titles and the 1966 European Cup during a 14-year career at the club. Tonight's other game sees last season's Europa League winners Eintracht Frankfurt play host to Serie A leaders Napoli, and both games kick off at 8.
This will be a great game. We'll be watching it very closely all evening. Jurgen Klopp said he watched back the Champions League final for the first time this week and found it torturous. Madrid's form post-World Cup isn't scintillating. It seems Vinicius and Benzema aren't in amazing form for whatever reason. They've dropped points against lesser opposition. And Liverpool's form, as of a week ago, is better. So, and it's at Anfield. So we'll talk about this in more depth after 7:30. But broad sweeps, what are you thinking tonight?
Yeah, I suppose simply put, I'd give Liverpool a kind of fighting chance over the two legs. Obviously, this will be the best opportunity this evening to cause Madrid some damage. I wouldn't worry too much, Joe, about Madrid's domestic form going into this game. We all know this kind of football club and even this team under this manager, what they can do on nights such as these. So I think they'll actually relish the occasion and the challenge of going to Anfield. I was hoping maybe Ceballos might start that central midfield alongside Modric. You know, I thought maybe that looks a bit lightweight. Maybe Liverpool could get a bit of a foothold in there, but the fact he's thrown Valverde in there alongside Camavinga as well gives him a real kind of physicality and a bit of a physical edge in there.
That is the way to extend Modric's career, isn't it? Surround him with legs.
Yeah, it'll certainly help him. Ceballos is very one-paced, isn't he? Obviously, Valverde box to box. He's a running machine. He's a racehorse. Camavinga as well is a lovely player.
Yeah.
And then Rodrigo as well, bringing him high up the pitch into his individual quality. So I think it's a good decision from Ancelotti.
So how do they fare against Henderson, who's looked a touch, by the way, in particular, rejuvenated and a little burst of energy last week or so? Fabinho and everyone's new favourite player, Bajcetic.
Say it again.
I think the key is to say it quickly. Young Stefan in there. He looks like a lovely player as well.
Yeah, I like what I've seen. I haven't seen enough of him, in all honesty, to give a real kind of strong opinion. You can see obviously the lad's got quality in terms of potentially what type of player he's going to be. Is he going to be more of a technical ball playing type of midfielder? Is he going to be box to box, arrive and lay physically? You know, is he going to mature and become, you know, that kind of running machine and midfield, which Henderson was at his very best. So it'll be interesting to see his development. But it probably shows you where Liverpool are at the moment. They probably need him in that central area of the pitch. So big opportunity for him this evening. Looking forward to see how he plays.
The texters only want to talk about one thing. So Mike in Cork, I've never heard of this. Lads, you can't beat a bit of tuna on a pancake. Oh God, no. An annual tradition in our household.
That's rotten. That is absolutely rotten. That's like back in Victorian times or so. It's like Spam. That's like, well, what have we got in the cupboard? I got a tin of Spam. I'll lash it on the pancake. Tuna.
Nick, that is horrific.
That's desperate.
Like, that's not even a subjective
No excuse for that. You don't admit to that. Ugh. That's like a shame, isn't it? That's bringing shame on the family admitting to that.
And do you just put...
Is that a made-up name? Is that he's actually put his name to that?
We have his number. Do you want to, Mick, do you want to phone him and put him on the air?
I wouldn't embarrass
We talk to him. Mick's saying no. I would like to interrogate further.
Be ostracized. He's brought shame to the whole town, village where he lives.
The whole county of Cork. Does he put sugar on it as well?
Stop now.
Well, I was just wondering, is it just tuna and pancake? It's like the fish sandwich.
It's a remarkably dry thing as well.
Ketchup, maybe.
Rotten.
I don't know.
No, that's
mayonnaise. Probably mayonnaise as well. Whatever's in the cupboard. The sounds of it.
That sounds more like dinner, Mick, than dessert. Have you ever had a fish finger sandwich?
No,
not bad.
I haven't had a fish finger for a long time. haven't had a fish finger for a long time.
It just reminded me of
we
the
had
place that used to be across the road, Joe.
Oh, yeah?
Work from the office. They used to do a killer fish finger sandwich.
Yeah, we'd friends over to our house a couple of weeks back, and they'd kids of that age, and so we were like, oh, I don't know how to feed them. So we went out and bought loads of fish fingers. Jeez, they're beautiful.
That's like gastro, I think, the last few years, isn't it? Gastro, that the fish fingers in a... charge about 20 quid for that in a bun.
Yeah, I would believe it. Lads, are you interviewing Kenny for a slot on A Slight Tangent here? I was just, you're obviously tuned in Touch Late. We were just saying to Kenny, would he do a slight tangent at some stage? He's up for it.
No, I don't remember agreeing to that.
You did, you said, let's do it then.
I said, let's hear it.
Oh,
As in, I didn't know what you were talking about.
You want to do quality control before you dare darken the door?
Well, ideally, yeah, when it comes to you.
Okay, I'll send you an episode and see what you think. Genuinely, I'd be curious what you think. I think you'd like it. Be up your street. Just talking nonsense.
I just can't get fish fingers now out of my head. It's a Friday night dinner for me back in the day, growing up. Fish fingers Friday.
Yeah.
Chips, bit of a chipper, that type of food Friday night. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, same.
Well, they're back
Fish
from
and chips.
school, and yeah, you weren't getting
couldn't eat
served
meat
up
back
boiled
in the day.
potatoes on a Friday, were you?
No, had to be Friday.
Yeah,
Did you have the same dinner on the same night every week?
pretty much.
What was Thursday?
Oh, yeah.
Stew.
The biggest downer for me was coming home on a Tuesday afternoon from school, cycling about 6 miles, which we had to do. Hard days, Joe, hard days. Coming in, and my ma had a big pot on, opening the lid of it and seeing that coddle simmering on the inside.
I would have thought you'd be Mr. Coddle.
Devastated.
Poor mum. She's listening at home to you.
And again, coddle's another thing that's gone high end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seems to have gone high end.
Yeah.
It'll never be high end.
Yeah,
Never.
I would you there,
Boiling
you.
sausages will forever be wrong.
And rashes. And I spoke about rashes, crispy, thin, slender, crispy rashes. And that's the exact opposite, isn't it? Just boiled to nothing. Bland, grey.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Mick, genuinely, I don't know if this is the worst radio we've ever done or if it's brilliant. Could you type through, like, get back on track or keep it going? Because I've just lost all sense. Lads, I had the Elvis pancake in Vegas during the summer. Absolutely gorgeous. The Elvis pancake, you ask? Peanut butter, bacon, banana. Honestly, it was delicious, says Finbar. Peanut butter, bacon, banana. That sounds nice to me, I have to say.
Oh, peanut, no.
Oh, peanut butter is beautiful. Yeah, peanut butter jam is something I only tried for the first time about 6 months ago, and it's mind-blowing. Did you ever go in for that?
No. Wouldn't even be tempted.
I know what you mean. Blow your mind.
Flame broke.
I'll blow your mind.
Broke, Joe.
I'll run out and get you peanut butter and jam for that pancake, and we'll see.
Don't bother.
We'll see.
You want fish fingers now, Joe?
Yeah, indeed. So, we've got through one story, Richie.
We have indeed, yeah. We'll get on to number 2. Connacht have today confirmed that Pete Wilkins has signed a 3-year contract as head coach there. The province say they conducted a thorough recruitment process following the news that Andy Friend is leaving his role as director of rugby at the end of this season. Wilkins had been head coach, there we go, with special responsibility for defence since Friend moved upstairs at the sports ground, but he'll now have overall responsibility for the men's senior team.
Look, it's incredibly exciting. I'm honoured by the opportunity. I can't wait to get started. From a personal point of view, in terms of the progression of my coaching journey to this point, it's a hugely significant step. It's one that I believe I'm ready for. It's one that I feel I've worked hard for. And I'm thrilled it's at a club and at a province that I care so deeply about. It's also a massive privilege when I look at the names that have come before me, Warren Gatland, Eric Elwood, Pat Lamb, Andy Friend, to be able to follow in their footsteps and lead the programme and bring my own flavour to that programme is incredibly exciting, and I'm humbled by that.
We'll talk about that on Wednesday Night Rugby tomorrow. Rich, the Irish team were giving press conferences today.
Yeah, they were. Ireland hooker Dan Sheehan believes Ross Byrne has been harshly treated by some elements of the media in recent years. With Jonathan Sexton a major doubt for Saturday's Six Nations game away to Italy, he apparently didn't train today. Byrne looks set to earn just a 3rd international start, and Sheehan believes his Leinster teammate deserved the plaudits that have only recently come his way.
You know, over the last few years, I've probably played most of my rugby under Ross at 10, so you know, I think probably the media were a bit harsh on him over the last few years, because from what I saw inside the doors of Leinster and Ireland was someone who's calm and can make plays happen. You know, everyone I think is really comfortable with him.
Kenny, I do know you like your rugby. I presume you enjoyed the Ireland-France match?
Oh,
top,
phenomenal.
Wasn't it?
Oh my God.
There's-
Absolutely
yeah.
phenomenal.
They're so good.
I heard it back from Wexford. I was down in Wexford. Heard it back
Yeah.
to make it back to me miles for the kick-off. Just had to watch it. Just had to get eyes on it. Yeah, it was great. Unbelievable. Can't believe they'll ever were playing that, Joe. You know better than me, but I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And that
phenomenal.
management group there
Yeah.
under Farrell, I think, is remarkable in terms of what they've done and what they're doing, where we are, the consistency. Unbelievable.
I know. Some of the rugby you're just watching. Whew. I mean, the Hugo Keenan try where they have the pre-planned move and he shoots through the line. All these kind of moments are just
Everything,
so good.
every aspect of the game, Joe. So it's like that physicality, which the French, you think, oh, just going to bulldoze, you stand up to that.
Yeah.
And then in terms from the technical side, which, to be fair, traditionally we've never, you know what I mean, haven't really been able to, outplay teams as such in terms of throwing the ball, have we? But
We're now,
phenomenal what we're doing now.
we're now world leaders in outplaying the opposition.
And you can see it, the lads, when they're interviewed, the mentality, the belief, confidence, the whole thing. It's brilliant. Even the coaching staff, Paul O'Connell's come on board there as well now, isn't he? And
He's made a big difference. Do you know what's interesting? And so, like, you'd have a kind of an insight into this as somebody who's played sport at such a high level, and it can go either way on a given day. And then big judgments are made about you as a group depending on how that big day goes. This team now, if they bow out at the quarterfinal stages, say they come up against a brilliant New Zealand or a Brazil or a brilliant France in France, and fine
can
margins,
happen,
just doesn't go their way, lose by 3 points, there will be a serious cohort that say, you see, Bottlers, all rubbish.
that's weak, isn't it?
I think you have to look at what they're doing now and say, this is quality.
Yeah, you can only judge. You can't look ahead potentially if what will happen hypothetical in 6 months' time if we lose to the French. Just the level of consistency that I'm seeing at the moment. And as you've said, like, I'm no expert in the sport, but I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I love what the manager is doing. He spins everything. Any possible negative, he just spins it into a positive straight away. Like, there was a couple of the lads pulled out late, didn't they, before the first game? Was it the Welsh game? No problem. No bemoaning the fact, it's a killer losing these players.
Never does.
What an opportunity for the lads. No problem to us. The squad, strong. Great opportunity for players. I trust them, and nothing's ever a problem. There's no down and no kind of negative spin whatsoever.
Yeah. I mentioned the Welsh situation, so if you're not following it too closely, Richie, Warren Gatland, and there is this kind of difficult aspect for Gatland in that he's arrived back into Wales on a very big salary, and is probably happy with his lot. He's trying to walk the line, bring his players who are very unhappy along with him. He was talking to the media today.
Yeah, crucially, he actually revealed that he wasn't informed of any of this brewing storm when he did arrive back into the job, which is something certainly. But the Wales head coach is positive that issues regarding player contracts will be resolved today. Today's training session, rather than this afternoon's, and the second of two ahead of Saturday's game with England, was cancelled, and Gatland has put off naming his side for that game. A deadline of tomorrow has been set for the Professional Rugby Board there to sign off on a new deal between the WRU and the regions. Players have threatened strike action if matters are not resolved to their satisfaction, and Gatland says he can see where the players are coming from.
What the players were asking for, I think, was definitely reasonable in terms of, and there needed to be some negotiation. It's like everything, it's, you've got to find some middle ground, and I think hopefully that, like I said, that the discussions today, there'll be some middle ground where the players are happy with, and the professional game board will be also happy with, some of the concessions that they make as well. So there's not. The thing is, it's not always about, when you're in discussion, it's not always about a win-win for one side. You've got to find some compromise, and hopefully that will be the case today.
So I know you were saying you haven't followed this too closely. Basically in Wales, there's the 80, 90 players that are at the four regions, the clubs, and they're out of contract in the summer, and there's been no talks between clubs and players about extending contracts because the clubs don't know what their budget is, because the Welsh Union don't seem to know what the budget is. They're in crisis at all times. And the players have said, what the hell is going on? This is madness. So here's the quote, which maybe crystallised things in the Mail last week and did the rounds. This is from a Welsh player who's played in the 2 Six Nations matches. He said, I can't believe I'm 5 months away from the end of my contract. I'm 8 months away from the World Cup and my future isn't certain. I can't apply for a mortgage. I'm on antidepressants. I'm one big injury away from not having a job in July. And yet I'm starting for Wales every week and the union's making tens of millions from international matches. Pretty reasonable. And the Union obviously have been brought to the brink here. Players threatening strike. England game this weekend. It's a complete mess.
Oh, I don't like the strike. I think that's too far. A lot of sympathy for what the individual player, whoever he is, say there. I can understand that on a human level, but now it's a step too far for me in terms of we're not going to take to the field and play the game. I think that's too much.
But
I know this is maybe a bargaining chip. Don't get me wrong.
Isn't that what's terrible though? Is you're speaking out of patriotism and professionalism there, and that's what the Union are taking advantage of. They'd be like, Kenny Cunningham, he's never going to he won't strike for Ireland. No chance. We can treat him how we like.
No, I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. So yeah, the Union has to be fair, and there's got to be a bit of compromise there. Warren Gatland alluded to it there. You know, there'll be a bit of give on both sides. I'd imagine that'll be the case. It's in nobody's interest, is it, for this to kind of linger? And clearly not the type of preparation the Welsh manager would have wanted. I think as a player, you know, you should push these things aside. You know, blinkers, a professional attitude, but not easy at times. These kind of negative thoughts can creep into the mindset. So no, not a great place for those Welsh players.
On the talk of tuna, lads, you're putting me off my pancake here. Says not making Cork. He's tucking into round 2. Any more tuna in the back cupboard there? Jesus. And Val and Limerick too.
Imagine he came around to his house and he said, let me whip you up something in the kitchen. I'll come out with you rubbing your hands. He came out and put pancakes and tuna.
Yeah, watery
Let's
tuna.
rub a mayonnaise on the side, like, help yourself.
Yeah. Val and Limerick says, please do a slight tangent, Kenny. Trust Val and Limerick. No.
You won't let this go, will you? That?
Sorry, we will let it go. I just want you to
I thought
say.
we had done the tangent. Isn't that what we've been doing for the last 20 minutes?
I mean, basically. It'd be this, but you know,
Good ass.
a touch less, a touch more sports talk, I suppose. We are going to preview Liverpool, Real Madrid, talk about that game in a bit more detail. Richie, we'll let you go and enjoy your pancakes for the evening. Thank you very much.
Cheers, lads. Pleasure.
Nice one, Rich.